Hold up, the internet is on fire again, and this time it's exploding over NBA YoungBoy. Because apparently, the man who's been beefing with half the rap industry just decided to aim his smoke cannon directly at Lil Durk, and it didn't go the way he thought it would. We're talking concert chaos, fan outrage, and a diss so bold, even 50 Cent would have said, "Bro, chill." YoungBoy hit that stage like he was performing at a rap funeral, dropping bars that sliced deeper than a divorce lawyer's closing argument. And within hours, it backfired harder than a cheap firework on the 4th of July. Durk fans, furious. Industry insiders, shook. Twitter, having the meltdown of the century. The memes alone could power a second internet. But here's where it gets wild. The Durk diss might not have been random. Insiders are whispering this was a setup, a trap disguised as a performance. And what happened after that concert could change the landscape of this entire rap feud. This isn't just beef, it's a full-blown digital civil war. Grab your popcorn because what NBA YoungBoy just unleashed might have cost him the crown he's been fighting for, and trust me, the receipts are ugly. The night started like any other chaotic NBA YoungBoy show. Flashing lights, screaming fans, and that familiar energy that only YB can bring. Half rage, half redemption, and 100% I don't care what anyone thinks. But what nobody expected was that halfway through his set, the man would drop a lyrical bomb so nuclear, it sent shockwaves through the entire hip-hop industry. Picture this, the crowd's losing their minds, phones out, energy sky high. Then, out of nowhere, YoungBoy cuts the music, grabs the mic and says, "They keep talking like Durk run the game. Tell him I run me." The DJ freezes, the audience gasps, and the internet loses its collective sanity. Clips hit Twitter faster than a TMZ headline. Fans couldn't believe it. The man who'd been lying low, barely speaking on his long-running beef with Lil Durk, had just reignited one of the most volatile rivalries in rap history. Live, on stage, in front of thousands. And it wasn't subtle. He name-dropped, he mocked, he even threw a sly jab about fake street legends who hide behind love songs. Let's be clear, in the rap world, that's not shade. That's an airstrike. Within minutes, the concert crowd was split down the middle. Half were chanting his name like he'd just declared war. The other half looked like they'd seen a ghost. People were literally checking their phones mid-show, waiting for Durk's response. Because if there's one thing we've learned about this generation's rap game, it's that nothing stays on stage. It hits the timeline before the bass even fades. And sure enough, not 10 minutes after the clip dropped, Durk's name was trending #1 worldwide. Fans were tagging him relentlessly. "Bro, he called you out again. You gonna let that slide?" This man just ended his career. Social media became a virtual gladiator arena, and everyone wanted blood. But here's where things started spiraling. You see, this wasn't just another petty diss. This was strategic. The timing was suspiciously perfect. Right after Durk's new single hit the charts, right after he announced a charity event for Chicago youth, YoungBoy took the stage and decided to turn positivity into pandemonium. Some called it jealousy, others said it was marketing genius. But let's be honest, when it comes to YB, chaos is the marketing. Still, there was one major problem. The internet's mood had changed. Back in 2022, people loved the beef. It was entertaining, it was messy, it was meme fuel. But in 2025, fans were tired. They'd watched too many rappers lose their lives to this real versus fake nonsense. The energy wasn't the same, and YoungBoy didn't read the room. When he threw those shots at Durk, instead of cheering, the industry collectively side-eyed him. Even longtime fans commented, "YB, we love you bro, but not this again." Others wrote, "Didn't he say he was done with drama? What happened to peace?" Suddenly, the same man who once thrived off controversy was being called the problem. Within hours, the clip had 10 million views and counting. Blogs were labeling it the diss heard around the world. YouTubers were breaking down every bar like it was the Zapruder film. And to make things worse, Durk didn't even respond. Not a tweet, not a post, not even a cryptic emoji, just silence. And that silence was deadlier than any diss track. Because here's the thing, in rap beef, silence is power. When your enemy doesn't even acknowledge you, it flips the narrative. Suddenly, YB's rant looked less like dominance and more like desperation. "Durk's too busy getting money," one fan commented. Meanwhile, YB still fighting ghosts. That one tweet got 100,000 likes in an hour. Then came the twist. A new clip leaked from backstage, YB pacing around, visibly heated, saying, "They scared to speak my name." You could hear his team trying to calm him down, telling him to let it go. But it was too late. The internet had already decided the story for him. The Durk diss wasn't a flex, it was a flop. And it only got worse when fan videos showed people leaving the concert early. Yep, real talk. During the set, some attendees walked out. One TikTok user posted, "We came for hits, not hate," and it racked up 1 million views overnight. That was the moment everything changed. Suddenly, the blogs that used to worship YB's rebellious energy started turning on him. Headlines like "NBA YoungBoy's anger problem strikes again," and "Fans concerned after heated outburst" flooded feeds. Twitter Spaces popped up with titles like "Is YB losing it?" and "Did Durk win by saying nothing?" Meanwhile, the Durk camp was playing chess, while YB was swinging checkers. Durk's manager posted a single laughing emoji. That's it, just one emoji. And the internet erupted like he'd dropped a diss track from heaven. Fans interpreted it as confirmation that Durk wasn't bothered. Some said he was playing the long game, others said YB handed him the W. And the memes were vicious. One viral post showed a picture of YoungBoy yelling on stage with the caption, "When your therapist cancels, but the mic is still on." Another had Durk photoshopped in a throne with the text, "You can't beef with royalty when you're still paying rent in relevance." Savage doesn't even begin to describe it. By the next morning, YB Backfired was trending on every platform. Commentators were calling it the moment the tables turned. Even YB's loyal fan base, the Never Broke Again army, started fracturing. Some defended him, saying he was just being real. Others admitted, "Yeah, this one ain't it." But what nobody realized yet was that this wasn't just about words. There were real consequences brewing behind the scenes. Because when you call out someone like Lil Durk, you're not just poking a rival. You're poking an entire empire. And that empire doesn't forget. The concert footage wasn't even 24 hours old when rumors started spreading that certain promoters were reevaluating their contracts with YB. Sponsors were monitoring the situation. Suddenly, a performance that was supposed to be his victory lap became a PR nightmare, and just when it looked like things couldn't get messier, the second clip dropped. In this one, YoungBoy is performing his hit, "Make No Sense," but midway through, he switches the lyrics. Fans freeze, realizing he's freestyling a direct shot at Durk again, this time with even more venom. Someone from the crowd yells, "Leave him alone!" and you can see YB smirk like he's enjoying the backlash. It's the kind of chaos he's built a career on. But this time, it wasn't the crowd cheering, it was the crowd booing. That's right, booing. NBA YoungBoy, the internet's most untouchable rebel, got booed on stage. Clips spread like wildfire, with captions like "YB finally lost the room." And that, my friends, was the spark that set the whole internet ablaze. Because this wasn't just a bad night, it was the moment the king of chaos got trapped in his own storm. And the fallout? Oh, you're not ready for how wild it gets next. By the next morning, social media looked like a digital crime scene. The hashtag #YB Backfired had mutated into a full-blown cultural earthquake. Fans weren't just talking, they were arguing, roasting, and diagnosing the entire situation like armchair psychologists with Wi-Fi. Everyone had something to say about NBA YoungBoy's meltdown, and no two takes were the same. Twitter Spaces were packed with people yelling, "He dissed the wrong one," while others shouted back, "At least he's real!" TikTok was a war zone of edits, some dramatic, others downright clownish. One viral video showed a fake reenactment of the concert using Barbie dolls, complete with a miniature Durk doll laughing in the audience. The caption? YB got humbled IRL. But as always in the rap world, drama never dies quietly. Because as the memes multiplied, so did the receipts. An insider account dropped an alleged text exchange from someone in YB's team saying, "We told him not to mention Durk. Bro was on one tonight." That one screenshot broke the internet harder than any diss track ever could. Suddenly, it wasn't just a performance gone wrong, it was evidence of self-sabotage. Then came the avalanche of celebrity reactions. And let's just say, this lineup looked like the BET Awards of shade. Scent jumped in with his signature chaos, posting, "YB wildin', but I respect the energy, just don't cry later." It got over 1 million likes in hours. Cardi B went live saying, "Every time men beef, it's always about ego. You'll need therapy, not stages." Even Boozy, who usually rides for YB, said, "I told that boy to chill. The fans want hits, not heat. Fans want hits, not heat." But the moment that broke the timeline came from none other than Lil Durk himself. After staying silent for a full 24 hours, which in internet time is basically a lifetime, Durk finally posted. Not a diss track, not a paragraph, just a photo of him sitting in the studio, smiling, with the caption, "Focus on money, not mistakes." That was it. One line. No names, no tags, no anger. Just a calm flex that screamed, "I already won." The internet went feral. People were posting side-by-sides of YB raging on stage versus Durk chilling in a luxury chair surrounded by plaques. "This is how you handle an op," one user wrote. Another tweeted, "Durk mastered silent revenge. No words, just wins." YB's team, meanwhile, was scrambling behind the scenes. According to several sources, his PR reps were begging him to stay offline. But you know YoungBoy. Staying quiet isn't in his DNA. By noon, he was back on Instagram Live, pacing back and forth like a man possessed. "You think I care about a photo?" he snapped. "I've been running this game since before y'all even knew who he was." He threw in a few not-so-subtle barbs about Durk's past, a little too personal, and suddenly, the temperature in the room dropped. Fans in the comments were typing, "Yo, chill! This ain't it!" And this man, self-destructing live. That's when the trolls entered. Someone commented, "Bro, you dissed a man who made a hit with Drake, not your ops from middle school." The live cut out 5 minutes later. Fans swore his team yanked the Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, the damage was done. Clips of the rant spread faster than gossip in a group chat. Even news outlets that usually ignored rap beef were reporting it. CNN didn't cover it yet, but hip-hop pages like Say Cheese and No Jumper were practically salivating. Every thumbnail had the same look, YB red-faced and furious, with headlines screaming things like, "NBA YoungBoy's meltdown goes too far." And as the chaos built, Durk kept stacking quiet wins. He dropped a surprise verse that fans immediately labeled a subliminal response. The bar that made jaws drop? "They barking for clout, I'm too rich to hear noise." Boom! The internet exploded. TikTok editors wasted no time. They clipped that line over footage of YB yelling at his concert, syncing it perfectly with slow zoom-ins and thunder sound effects. Within hours, it had 20 million views. "This is murder without bullets," one user commented. By now, even people outside hip-hop were watching. Think pieces started dropping. One headline read, "NBA YoungBoy's rage problem, the downfall of the internet's anti-hero." Another went even deeper, claiming his outburst showed the toxicity of fame addiction. Everyone suddenly became a philosopher. But if there's one thing the internet loves more than chaos, it's irony. Because right as the backlash reached peak volume, YB's label decided to drop a surprise single. Guess what it was titled? "I Said What I Said." Oh yeah, he doubled down. The song was pure gasoline. He didn't name names, but the subliminals were nuclear. "They hiding behind angels, I'm fighting my demons," he rapped. Fans instantly linked it to Durk's religious tattoos. Another line, "They tweet peace but want smoke when the mic off," had the comments section in flames. But here's where the plot twisted. The song flopped. For the first time in years, a YoungBoy track didn't dominate streaming charts. It debuted lower than expected, drowned out by Durk's quiet dominance and fans' exhaustion. People weren't entertained anymore. They were embarrassed for him. Even die-hard supporters started posting, "Bro, maybe it's time to chill." When your own fanbase tells you to log off, that's the digital version of an intervention. Then, like clockwork, came the fallout. A major festival quietly removed YB's name from their lineup, citing security concerns. Promoters started backing out of shows. Sponsors went ghost. This wasn't cancel culture. This was consequence culture. Meanwhile, Durk was thriving. He appeared on a charity livestream, donating $100K to youth programs in Chicago. The comments were ruthless. "He's winning with kindness while YB's losing his mind." Another fan said, "Durk's doing charity, YB's doing damage." And just when everyone thought the storm was dying down, it rained again. A clip surfaced from a Durk concert where the DJ played one of YoungBoy's older tracks. Instead of booing, Durk smiled and said into the mic, "Let him heal." The crowd went silent, then erupted. That moment, that tiny act of grace, turned the internet upside down again. "Durk just ended the beef with compassion," one fan posted. "He killed him with kindness." Meanwhile, YB went radio silent. No posts, no lives, nothing. The man who once thrived on outrage was suddenly invisible, but the internet wasn't done debating. Was YB humbled or plotting a comeback? Did Durk really win, or just outgrow the fight? The lines blurred, and that's when the story stopped being about two rappers and became a modern myth about ego, internet, and implosion. Because this wasn't just beef. This was the public execution of pride, and everyone had front row seats. And trust me, what happened next made the internet question whether this feud was even real, or an elaborate game of marketing chess. By day 3, the NBA YoungBoy versus Lil Durk saga had evolved beyond a rap beef. It was an all-out cultural event. Twitter threads were now documentaries. TikTok edits looked like trailers for a movie, and podcasts were treating it like a Supreme Court case. The world wasn't just watching two rappers, it was watching two empires collide, and the craziest part, neither man had to drop a diss track to keep the fire alive. The internet was doing all the promotion for them. Still, deep inside YB's camp, the vibes were heavy. People close to him claimed he'd gone quiet, which, for YoungBoy, is basically a cosmic anomaly. This is a man who could beef with a parking ticket if it looked at him wrong. But this time, the silence felt different. It wasn't rebellion, it was realization. Rumors started flying that YB's label was putting him on PR lockdown. No lives, no tweets, no subliminals. They wanted him to cool off and rebuild his image. But the damage had already been done. Every entertainment page was running the same narrative. NBA YoungBoy, from Fearless to Fallout. Meanwhile, Durk was glowing like a man who had just won the quietest war in history. Every move he made looked strategic. Every silence looked powerful. He wasn't even talking about YB anymore. But somehow, every headline still mentioned his name. That's when you know you've beaten the internet, when you can trend without even trying. But then came the plot twist nobody saw coming. A new live surfaced from an old YB associate, someone who used to be part of his crew before the split. The man went live and said, "This whole thing got way out of hand." YB didn't even plan that diss. He snapped in the moment. He claimed that the concert meltdown wasn't premeditated, it was emotional. Supposedly, YB had been dealing with personal stress and lashed out. Now, the internet had a new angle. YoungBoy's breaking point. Suddenly, sympathy started creeping in where there was once mockery. Fans began posting things like, "He needs therapy, not beef. And we've all been that mad, just not with a microphone." But while fans were softening up, the industry wasn't. Promoters didn't care about emotions, they cared about headlines. And YB's name had become radioactive. Within a week, 2 major venues postponed his upcoming shows. Translation: he'd been quietly benched. Meanwhile, Lil Durk was everywhere, performing, smiling, signing deals, even guesting on a motivational podcast talking about energy, forgiveness, and staying above negativity. The internet practically crowned him the Dalai Lama of drill rap. The memes turned wholesome. Durk shaking hands with school kids, Durk giving motivational quotes, Durk helping elderly fans cross the street. He went from the trenches to TED Talks, one post joked. But YB wasn't down for long. If there's one thing he's built for, it's the comeback. Out of nowhere, after 2 weeks of silence, he dropped a YouTube video titled, "They Want Me Gone." It wasn't a song. It was a raw, stripped-down video of him talking directly to the camera. No beat, no aggression, just emotion. "Y'all act like I ain't human," he said. "Y'all see the pain, but y'all call it drama. Maybe I'm just tired." It was eerie, vulnerable, almost too real. The internet froze. Some fans called it fake. Others called it his most genuine moment ever. One comment said, "For once, he didn't sound like a rapper. He sounded like a man." But of course, in true internet fashion, the sympathy didn't last long. 10 minutes later, memes started rolling in. Someone edited the video to include sad violin music and titled it "YoungBoy's Oscar Speech." Another turned his quote into a TikTok audio for breakup edits. That's the internet. Empathy on Monday, mockery by Tuesday. Still, the tides were turning. For the first time in years, the rap world wasn't glorifying beef. It was questioning it. Even DJs and influencers started saying things like, "This YB Durk thing ain't cool anymore, and we need to protect our artists, not pit them against each other." Then came the twist no one predicted. Durk reached out privately. Insiders claimed he sent a message through mutual industry contacts. Not for a collab, not for a post, but to tell YB, "Handle your piece. not your pride. When that rumor broke, fans didn't know what to do with it. The internet thrives on conflict, not compassion. Ain't no way Durk just told him to heal, one user wrote. This the most unrapper thing ever. One user wrote, this the most unrapper thing ever. But it made sense. Both men had lost friends, faced trauma, and grown up in a world that rewarded aggression but punished emotion. Maybe, just maybe, the feud that started as ego was ending as evolution. Still, you know the internet can't let anything stay peaceful. The next week, a fake collab leak started circulating. A track supposedly featuring both of them titled, "Forgive Me Later." It was obviously AI generated, but fans ate it up. For 2 hours, the entire rap community believed the impossible, that YB and Durk had ended their war through music. When it turned out to be fake, fans lost their minds. That's the problem, one person tweeted. We'd rather believe in beef than peace. That single tweet went viral, shared by everyone from rappers to radio hosts, and while the fake song faded, its message stuck. Fans started turning YB's meltdown into a conversation about growth. YouTube comments flipped from insults to empathy. People were saying things like, he's maturing, he's breaking generational curses, and this is the redemption arc we needed. But let's be honest, in rap, peace only lasts until the next beat drops. A month later, a mysterious Instagram story popped up from YB's burner account with 3 words. Still ain't done. No context. No hashtags. Just pure chaos fuel. Fans freaked out instantly. He back. Round 2. Durk better drop something quick. The digital streets were vibrating again. But this time, instead of a diss, YB dropped a freestyle titled Patience. It was introspective, almost poetic. He talked about loyalty, betrayal, pressure, and the cost of fame. The man who once screamed his pain had learned to articulate it. I lost myself trying to prove I was real to people who wanted me broken, he rapped. And just like that, silence. No more taunts, no more tweets, no more beef. The internet finally realized what had happened. The war wasn't between Durk and YB anymore. It was between their pasts and their growth. In the end, Durk won by not playing, and YB won by finally pausing. The beef that started in fire ended in reflection, and the fans, for once, got something real instead of just viral. But let's not lie to ourselves. Peace in hip-hop is like Wi-Fi at a music festival. It sounds good in theory, but it never lasts long. So yeah, the feud might be quiet for now. But if there's one thing we've learned, it's that when ego meets a microphone, silence is only ever temporary. Because somewhere out there, another beat is loading, and someone's about to say something they can't take back. And when that happens, you already know who's going to be here first with the smoke and the receipts, the rap truth. And there you have it, the meltdown, the mayhem, and the moral of the story. NBA YoungBoy fired shots at Lil Durk thinking he was starting a rap revolution, but ended up sparking a public lesson in humility, hype, and how to lose a crowd in under 60 seconds. The man who said he feared nothing finally met the one enemy he couldn't out-rap, his own ego. So now the question is, who really won this war? Was it Lil Durk, the silent assassin who turned composure into currency? Or was it YB, who finally realized that peace hits harder than beef ever could? Drop your take in the comments right now. Team Durk, Team YB, or Team Everyone Needs Therapy at this point. And while you're down there, smash that like button like it just dissed your favorite rapper. And hit subscribe if you live for raw, unfiltered hip-hop chaos served extra hot. Because around here, scandals don't sleep. They trend. Turn on those notifications, because tomorrow's headline might make this one look like a nursery rhyme. Trust me, in the world of rap, today's beef is tomorrow's apology post, and next week's diss track revival. This is the rap truth, where the rumors get roasted, the lies get exposed, and the truth always comes with bass. Stay tuned, stay messy, and remember, in hip-hop, there's no such thing as too much drama. There's only too late to delete it. The rap truth, where we don't just talk about the culture, we narrate its chaos. It's chaos.